our Oregon National Guard members.
Brown is asking the Department of Defense for a battalion of active duty soldiers trained in firefighting to help.
The fires have killed 19 people in California, 3 in Oregon, 1 in Washington. Dozens more are missing after a series of wildfires in Northern California, where at least 20,000 people have been forced to evacuate. Wildfires are also burning in Alaska, Arizona, Colorado, Idaho, Montana, Nevada, New Mexico, Texas, Utah, and Wyoming. In New York, a dispute over coronavirus safety precautions is leading to split-screen remembrances as the nation remembers 9/11. Mike Bauer reports.
One event will be held at the September 11th Memorial Plaza at the World Trade Center, and another on a nearby corner. This coronavirus year, family members at the museum will not read the names of the victims in person on stage. In fact, there will be no stages this year. Instead, hand sanitizer stations installed by crews in masks. A reminder that the COVID pandemic changes even the most solemn of moments. The Pentagon's observance will be so restricted that not even victims' families can attend. Both President Trump and former Vice President Biden will visit the Flight 93 Memorial in Pennsylvania for private services. The grounds will be closed until the event is over, but the event will be live streamed.
Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
Good morning and welcome to Coffee Ann, the longest-running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question of the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsocket.radio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee Ann panel.
And we say good morning to you. It is Coffee Ann time on ON Radio on this Friday morning, September 11th, 2020. This is Joe Callahan. Thanks for joining us this morning. Let's say good morning to Paul Willett from the Northern Rhode Island Chamber of Commerce. Good morning, Paul.
Morning, Joe.
And also joining us at the Coffee Ann table from the town of Bellingham, their town manager, Dennis Frayne is here. Good morning, Dennis.
Good morning. Thanks for having me again.
Nice to have you here. Always good to have you here to find out what's going on in Bellingham. I got some pointed questions for you.
All right. I'll be ready.
Well, maybe they're pointed. We'll see. Paul, time for our first message from the Northern Rhode Island Chamber of Commerce.
Well, thanks, Joe. What I usually do for the first segment is to talk about the events we have coming up, and we have several. Next Tuesday is our annual golf outing. Happy to say that we are almost sold out. We were, and then we had a last-minute cancellation. So if you're a golfer and you'd like to join us, there is a foursome available, so you can let us know by just going on the website and register, or you can call us. That is a last-minute thing, so we'd love to have you. We also have a virtual Eggs and Issues breakfast with the Speaker of the House, Nicholas Mattiello, and that's going to be on the 22nd. And it's kind of interesting what's going on up at State House, or lack of what's going on at State House, I should say. But the speaker is going to give his perspective as to what's going on and what we can expect. We got a couple of seminars coming up. They're going to be virtual as well. And it's one of our members who is a public speaking coach. Every time he gives a presentation, it seems to sell out or have a good audience. So he's doing two. One is going to be on September 23rd, and it's how to deal with your fear of public speaking. You talk to people, and I think they'd rather die than get up and talk in front of people. It's really it's something that you can overcome over time. So then he's also going to do one in October 20th, and it's how to speak with confidence. One of the things that we're all struggling with is that, you know, we're in this virtual format now, and it's a little different. Some people, you know, I just being on the radio, I remember my first time here, I was a little nervous, but after a while, you get the hang of it. So that's going to be on October 20th. And then on October 21st, the very next day, we're going to have an Eggs and Issues breakfast with Secretary of State Gorbea. It's pretty timely, just before the election. As you know, the Secretary of State's office is responsible for voting here in Rhode Island, and we're looking forward to having have her out. So if you're interested in any of these events, you can give us a call at 334-1000. We'd be happy to register you, or you can do it yourself. Go online at nrichamber.com.
All right, Paul, thank you very much. First thing we want to get to a little housekeeping stuff from yesterday, because we had the story yesterday that Hasbro, their toy, Yahtzee, is being considered for the National Toy Hall of Fame. Did you know there's a National Toy Hall of Fame, Dennis?
I did not know.
It's in Rochester, New York.
Yes.
It's just like any Hall of Fame. Every year, new toys are not promoted. They're listed as, this is the toy that should go into the Hall of Fame. Well, this year, Yahtzee is one of the games. And we were talking Yahtzee yesterday, and I was saying how much fun it was. I remember playing it as a kid. And this was a fun game, and I haven't played it in over 20 years, and I don't remember the actual rules to it. Well, we got a couple of people that sent in email messages after the show yesterday.
On the rules?
On this is what you do for Yahtzee. And one of them said Yahtzee is when, you ever play the game, Dennis?
I have. Been a long time.
Okay.
Probably 30 or 40 years.
Okay,
yeah.
you got the die that's in the little barrel,
Yep.
and you throw it out. They say you yell out Yahtzee when all 5 die come up with the same number. All right, that I remember. And then someone else, we got that one from Marcel. We got another one from Dave who said, you yell Yahtzee when you get 5 die of the same number. The gist of the game is to meet certain requirements of dice combinations, and you try to complete them all within 3 roll sequences. So it's almost like roulette. Kind of. But
You know what? I'll have to look up. My wife and I were talking about getting a dumpster and cleaning out stuff we have up in our barn, and I believe there's a Yahtzee game up there. Maybe it'll be worth
you
more
go.
money now, an old version.
yeah, if it goes into the Hall of Fame,
Yeah.
don't throw it out yet.
No.
All right, today is 9/11, so it's the 19th anniversary of the terrorist attacks on New York City and in Washington, D.C., and in that field in Pennsylvania. Any recollections? Any thoughts?
Oh yeah, I can remember sitting in the town hall and seeing the first tower, and the report was that a plane accidentally flew into the tower, is what they thought.
You thought it was accidental,
and before you know it, there was another one, and then it was unbelievable. It was surreal. It really was. And then the memorials, people driving. I think that's really when it became popular to have a American flag in your front lawn, hanging out of your car. Remember,
Yes.
everybody they sold
especially
out.
cars.
You couldn't buy one, flying out of cars and everything else. It was just incredible time and very sad time.
Sure.
Yeah.
Paul,
I remember we had an advisory group meeting in Smithfield, and just as I was coming into the office, everybody gathered around our former colleague's computer, Chris Novak, and same thing, oh my God, a plane hit the tower, and
how awful is
then
that?
another one, and we quickly learned what was going on, but I don't think there's anybody alive today who doesn't remember what they were doing when they heard the news. Certainly a sad moment in history, but I'm pretty sure it was a Friday too.
No, it wasn't.
It was a Thursday.
It was a Tuesday.
It was a Tuesday. Okay.
I can tell you why. I
Trying to
can tell you why I know
remember
that.
my advisory group schedules there, but you can tell us why. What?
Well, I remember it because, and I've told this story before, and if you've heard it before, I apologize. But there's always new people that haven't heard this story. It's an act of heroism, actually. I was not working here. I was working for another company. I was working for a phone company called Network Plus. They were based out of Quincy, Massachusetts, but they had satellite sales offices, and I was working out of the one that was in Smithfield at the time. But we had a satellite sales office in the Twin Towers on the 80th floor.
Oh, wow.
And I remember it was a Tuesday because the satellite sales offices, the salespeople on Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Fridays were supposed to be out. Mondays and Thursdays, they were in making phone calls to make appointments to go out. So Tuesday was an out day. That's how I remember it. And so the only people in the office, the one that was in the World Trade Center, was the branch manager and a new employee. Okay. I believe it was his second day. And so the planes hit below them, and they're told, okay, you got to evacuate the building. So they start walking down 80 flights of stairs. When they get to somewhere in the 60th area, they run across a woman that's in an electric wheelchair. The elevators are not working, and now she can't get down. So they carried her.
Oh, wow. Chair and all.
The chair, with her in the chair, and they carried because they didn't know how bad it was going to get. So they said, okay, well, let's bring the chair because you're going to need it when we get to the bottom anyway. So it took them over 2 hours to carry this woman down these flights of stairs because they had to stop because it was heavy and they had to rest, and other people kept coming by, and so they were getting out of people's ways, so they'd stop and rest and then go another couple of flights, stop again, and they kept doing this continuously until they got to the bottom. It took over 2 hours to get her down there. When they get to the ground, and they did, they separate. She went her way, they went their way. The building comes down. Oof. Now they were fine, but they didn't know what happened to her because they went in separate directions. Somehow the news media in New York picked up on this story because they did a lot of stories on heroism, and it made some national news. Didn't the company president at the time got a phone call from the Oprah Winfrey people, and they heard about the story, and they said they wanted to bring on the two people that carried her down and the woman. She did survive, so they had a little mini reunion on the Oprah Winfrey
what a
show.
story.
I'm like, and so I knew about it because the CEO sent out an email. This is what has happened with our guys in New York City, and he was just so proud of what they did, not knowing what peril they were in at the time, but they took the time to a complete stranger to carry her all the way down over 60 flights of stairs.
That's incredible. Second day on the job.
Yeah. I don't know if he came back, by the way. I don't know if he how long he lasted with the company after that.
Well, that's really that's an amazing story.
Isn't that amazing? It's something I will always remember. I will always remember that. The other thing I remember about it, and it happened a couple of days later, was there were news stories that came out because the FAA told all the airplanes, wherever you are, you got to come down, get to the nearest airport and land. And someone did a story on that national story how they praised all the FAA, one for one, and all the pilots. Besides the 4 airplanes, no crashes. There was not one, and they all did what they were supposed to do, and they all landed like they were supposed to.
And the sky was full. Yeah.
Yes.
That was a huge commuter time first thing in the morning.
Really is amazing.
And they said, wherever you're going.
Yeah.
And because the barber I had at the time, I think he's passed away now, but was on his way to Alaska. He was going on a cruise. Spent the next week in Minnesota. Because he couldn't fly after that. And he had trouble getting any kind of transportation to come back east. Tough to rent a car, tough to get on a train, because things just weren't going. But he eventually made it back, and like that.
Now, have you been out, either of you been out to the site since?
At Ground Zero?
Yeah.
I have not been there.
Yeah, no, it's surreal. I mean, it's probably the quietest part of New York City.
Yeah.
But no, we went there a couple of years ago, and it's really when you see all the names and you just listen to the waterfall, it's a very peaceful place.
The other thing I do remember, it was news stories. This was kind of downplayed for a little bit, but maybe you guys remember. They said when they landed all the planes, of course, then they get everybody off, and then they went and sweep the planes for stuff. They found more box cutters on other planes. This was a well-coordinated attack. They were going, and we always heard, well, maybe they were going after the White House and going after the state capitol, because they did hit the Pentagon.
Sure.
But they were going after other places as well. They just don't know where they were actually hitting. Maybe they're going for the Sears Tower in Chicago or something like that. But they did find more box cutters, so more hijackings were going to take place. And until they noticed, hey, we're landing. All right, we're going to forget it then. We're going to scrap the.
Yeah, people today take for granted the level of security that you have when you go through the airport. Back then, it wasn't anything like that. You went, you checked, you went in. If you wanted to meet somebody,
you went right to the gate.
Went right to the gate and waited for them. Not anymore.
Yeah, it's amazing though the people that are out there who think they can still bring stuff on planes. Like, what was it? It wasn't that long ago. Somebody, I think at Green, had a gun.
Guns.
Oh, I forgot. How can you forget?
Yeah, I know where my gun is. I don't have one, but I'd know where it was if I had one.
It's happened. Not that Dave Ritchie has a gun, but sometimes you do forget. I think he had a
little pocket knife.
Yeah,
sure. That I can see. It's on your keychain or.
It was just he threw it in his luggage, and they X-rayed it, and they said, and now they're coming after him. What, are you trying to get away with something? He's like, what are you talking about?
I checked that bag. Yeah,
it's like we found this.
Oh, carry on.
Throw it away, but it was a gift.
Yeah,
if you think you're getting on the plane, you're not. Throw it away. You had to throw it away.
Mm-hmm.
So it happens. But things like that, things you don't think about, knitting needles are not allowed.
Yep.
Small things
Well,
like
if you're
that.
skilled, I mean, you could actually get a sharp pencil and, hit
Well,
somebody in the throat.
You could,
It's,
but or a pen.
yeah, anything
like that.
anything could be a weapon.
But anything like that, knitting needles, crochet hooks, maybe.
Yep.
No, you can't. None of that. And no water, unless you buy it after the check.
Right,
check
and you got to
twice.
take your shoes off because of the shoe bomber, and it goes on. I mean, who knows where we're going
Shoes
to be
and-
in 10 or 15 years?
Shoes and belts.
Shoes and belts, yeah.
But not suspenders. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
But you always run across someone in the airport that doesn't know the rules.
Well, you go to Europe and they're walking around with rifles. The security people are in the airport.
Yeah.
It's a different world. So they take it to another level.
Yeah. All right. We're going to take a break here on the Coffee and program. We will get to other subjects here on the Coffee and program. But, Paul, time for a second message from the Northern Rhode Island Chamber of Commerce.
Sure, thank you. Well, the Chamber of Commerce, if you don't know about us, we're here to make your business more successful. We do that in a number of ways. We've been doing it a long time, and throughout the pandemic, we've been a source for businesses to let them know all the loans and programs that are out there so that they can remain open. We're here. We're available to you. If you have any questions, there's still a lot of things going on in business. How to keep your place safe for your employees and any walk-ins that you may have. But we can get all that information for you. In terms of how we can help you, I mentioned earlier some of the events that we have coming up. You can educationally, you can learn things to make you more successful. We also do advocacy is probably the biggest thing that we do. We want to make sure that whatever the lawmakers are proposing, that it's friendly for business. The last thing we want is to have business going backwards, particularly during these times. So advocacy is a big thing we do. We can help you promote your brand. We do that in a number of ways, whether it's advertising on our website, sponsoring an event. So our whole existence is to make businesses more successful. If you're a member of the Chamber, we thank you for your support. If you would like to learn more about us, you can visit our website at nrichamber.com, or you can give us a call at 334-1000. Any one of the staff is capable of getting you the information you need, so we'd love to hear from you.
All right, Paul. The Coffee and program will continue. You can call in comments or questions at 766-1240 or email them into coffee@OneSocketRadio.com.
Preventative care is the hallmark of a good dental program, and Dr. Jeffrey Dodge takes a high priority on patient care as well as patient education by taking the time to listen and answer questions. You'll never feel rushed. Dr. Dodge also offers restorative care, including fillings, crowns, and bridges. They feature an in-house laboratory, making it easy and convenient for the patient. Check their website for more information about their caring philosophy and to learn more about dental updates and new technology. drjedodge.com. Dr. Jeffrey Dodge, your family dentist at 1438 Park Avenue, Park Square, 762-3044.
When it comes to kitchen and bath remodel projects, no one wants to feel like they have to tame a lion. That's why the team at Countertops by Superior consistently deliver the highest quality and customer satisfaction you have come to know and expect. Countertops by Superior has a 5-step process to getting new kitchen or bath countertops in your home. First step is a free, all-inclusive, in-home sales quote. Second step is you choose a stone for your countertops. They have beautiful engineered and natural stones. Third step is they will visit your home and formulate an exact template for your countertops. Fourth step is you come back to the showroom to digitally lay the template out on your chosen stone. The fifth step is installation day. Countertops by Superior invites you to their showroom, and you can see for yourself all the beautiful stones in the slab room. No lion taming at Countertops by Superior, 840 Cumberland Hill Road, Woonsocket. Visit them online at countertopsbysuperior.com. The Coffee and Panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee in Pawtucket. They're a 62-year-old family business that roasts all its coffee right here in Rhode Island. Founded originally as Excellent Coffee Company, they provide great coffee to food service establishments throughout New England.
ON Worldwide.
All right, it is Coffee In on ON Radio. This is Joe Callahan here with Paul Willett and Dennis Frayne, town manager from the town of Bellingham. Before we get to Bellingham, last night was the kickoff of the NFL season. Last night, Kansas City Chiefs had a pretty easy time with the Houston Texans last night. But the country seems to be split 50-50 here. There are people that say, I'm not watching football at all this year because of everything that's going on with the kneeling and with the national anthems. And then there's everybody, and then there's the people that are on the other side, people like me, who, I don't care what you guys are doing. I just want to watch the game. So I'm very good at, with remote in hand, flipping over. If they're not playing a game, okay, it's back to something else. Mm-hmm. And so I didn't watch any of the pregame show. The kickoff was supposed to be about 8:20. Mm-hmm. I flipped over at about 8:17. They're singing the national anthem at that point. Nope, I don't care. I know that sounds bad, but no, it's back to this. I'm going to watch the Red Sox. I'm going to wait and wait and wait. I went back. They were doing some kind of unity circle. All right, I don't care. Yeah. It's away again. It came back. Now they're actually playing the game. Okay, this is what I care about. I don't care about anything else. And it was interesting. They said they had 17,000 people there
in the stands.
Didn't look like it, did it?
No, because it was spread
out.
When they took a long shot, I'm like, how come people are up in the lousy seats?
Well, I don't know. I don't know how they.
Why don't you bring everybody down? But you got to stay apart. But
I don't know how they sold those tickets.
I don't know who gets them.
I'm sure it's season ticket holders. You know, they probably did a lottery. They have so many.
Maybe
after you win a Super Bowl, I think there's a heightened level of interest. There's only a handful of stadiums that are allowing it.
That's right.
Yes,
but
Gillette's not.
You know, I haven't read any of the news this morning, but the fact that Houston elected to stay in the locker room.
Yes, they did. I did hear that.
The national anthem. To me, that just showed more divide. I mean,
that's what's going to happen in Foxborough. Miami has already said they're staying in the locker room.
But Miami is saying, you know what? You're playing the Black Lives Matter national anthem, and you're playing the American national anthem. Do we kneel for one? Do we not kneel for another? They're just saying, you know what? We don't want to get caught up in it, so we're staying out. Explaining it that way, okay, I get
Makes
it.
sense.
Because you go out there and half the guys are kneeling, half the guys aren't kneeling, then the other anthem plays and different guys are kneeling, and now all of a sudden you're a racist. Or, you're not supportive of the cause or whatever else. So I think Miami's going to play a video explaining why they're doing what they're doing, and I think it makes sense because they're just, as you're saying, they're done with it. That's the impression I got. You know, they just don't want to get sucked into it, and I don't blame them. And I don't know what the Patriots are going to do, but I wouldn't blame them all because no matter what you do, there's a
someone's going to say you're wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I think the Patriots are doing. Now you say both national anthems. There's really only one, but they're going to have both songs.
Right.
I think Kansas City I only saw one person down on his knee.
Yeah.
So, a few fists, I think.
Although I also heard I didn't see it, but when they came out to do their unity circle with both teams locking arms, I heard the fans were booing them.
They were booing. Yeah,
so
that's what I heard too.
Wow,
I didn't watch a single snap, but I heard that they were booing. That was on the national. They couldn't wait to report on it first thing in the morning on the national.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
And I've always said that if to take away from this, stop showing them singing the national anthem. They want to sing the national anthem. It's for the people in the stands. Of course, there won't be anybody in the stands at Gillette, but the NFL is going to stop showing the division, and it'll eventually go away. But that's my opinion on it. But I don't know if it'll work. So, all right, on to Bellingham, Dennis.
Sure.
What are the schools doing? What's they're going to open up next week?
They're opening up next week
on Wednesday.
We're ready to go.
Most Massachusetts schools are on Wednesday.
I believe it's Tuesday.
Tuesday,
so
okay.
Most systems have adopted the hybrid model, which
that's
is
what Bellingham's doing.
Yeah, half a class will go to school Monday and Tuesday, and the other half of that class will go Thursday and Friday. So if you have a class with 24 students, then 12 will go Monday and Tuesday. Alphabetical order as to who goes, and then the other half will go Thursday and Friday, and they're supposed to do a deep clean on Wednesday.
Is that throughout high school, middle school, elementary schools, right across the board?
And that's what you're seeing with most school systems in Massachusetts. Most of them
Mine's a little different.
That model. Most are.
Yeah,
I know Mansfield's different.
They're going all remote learning for the first month.
That's what Franklin's doing.
And then we'll make a decision. They're going to make a decision after that. What do we do then?
Yeah, Franklin's doing that. Bellingham right now has one active case. We publish it daily.
As a student?
As a community.
Oh, there's only one in the whole town?
The town of Bellingham right now has one active case.
Wow,
town
that's
of 17,000.
That's fantastic.
But I think if you look at some of these smaller towns now, Mansfield is more of a commuter town. I think maybe with the commuter rail there. So and Mansfield's a little bigger. But I think the region. I don't know how Woonsocket's doing, but we've done well, and we've monitored it. One of the things that we did back in the spring when it all started. There were a lot of stories and speculation out there, and if you went on social media, there were all kinds of mistruths, if you will. And we started doing a daily 10 a.m. briefing every morning, and it was just a cable access. And we didn't know how many people were going to be watching, but we found out that there were, as we went along, a lot of people watching. You could email in your questions. We had restaurateurs in, we had people in the supermarkets in to talk about what they were doing and how they were handling it. And we got the truth out. We also had our public health nurse there every single day to update the numbers, let people know how we're doing, what we can do differently, and answer the public health questions that we weren't capable of handling ourselves. So it really cut down on the chatter on the different social media pages.
The misinformation.
Yes, the misinformation. That every community we have multiple sites. There's next door. There's Bellingham Buzz. There's Bellingham Unplugged. There's a Bellingham Moms page, and people are going out. It was funny when it first started. We had, 2 or 3 cases in town back in March, and the big question was, can you at least tell us where they live so we can stay out of that part of town? And then, of course, but it evolved to, it's everywhere. It's not in one section of town or one neighborhood or anything else. But it's been quite an experience. And knock on wood, right now it's just one case in town. But a month from now, it could be right back to where we were 4 months ago. It's incredible how long this has been going on. Yeah. 6 months of this.
What about the town hall? Is it open to the public?
Town hall's been open to the public since the first week of June.
Okay.
We always had staff. We were wearing masks and keeping our distance, social distancing, and we cut back on part-time help, but we were always staffed, handling things online. I'll tell you, the inspectional services departments in town, if anything, it picked up. People were home, and they were doing projects at home.
Makes sense.
Home builders were doing well. We tried to make sure that we were inspecting sites, to make sure the people that work in there were doing what they should be doing. Full-time job, obviously, for the Board of Health. We had to provide a lot of assistance there to make sure that people were doing the right things when they were out in public. But there are some trades, I think, that probably did better as a result of the pandemic, because people are home and they're just looking for projects to do.
Did you have a chance to stop in on Pulaski Boulevard to Pool Pro and Spa? Because pool installations this summer was through the roof.
You know what else was through the roof? Spa installations.
Yeah.
I had a problem with my spa. I went to pick up a piece for it at a shop, and they had like 2 models on the floor. A place that usually has 10 or 15. The guy says they can't get them in quick enough. People. So for a down economy, people are spending a lot of money.
Yeah.
Staying
home. So okay.
So we were. Now we're pretty much back to normal, except for reduced services at the library, because you can only have so many people in a building. The senior center, unfortunately, it's all drive-by, in person, because it's still the most vulnerable sector. But we're doing a lot of outreach. In the town hall, you can't have more than 8 people per 1,000 square feet. So our meetings are still all virtual, and you just go to it's actually easier for people to participate in a meeting, because you click on the virtual button on our webpage, and boom, you can get into any meeting you want to get into. But we meet physically in the meeting rooms. We have sneeze shields up between us. We have, social distancing. And so the meetings are on Access, and they're also out on the Zoom platform. So you have 2 options as to how you participate.
It's relatively normal, because I know I've gone up to the Barnes & Noble bookstore, so that whole plaza, Walmart's there and Market Basket's there, and I saw people in line they were keeping track of how many people can be in the store and not in the store. Okay, someone's come out. Okay, you can go in. And the other stores do that too. But when I went to the Barnes and Noble, people, they have their masks on, but they're just browsing around like they normally do, and it's as normal as it can be.
You don't see the lines, people waiting to get in so much anymore, do you?
I haven't.
Yeah.
I saw
recently.
Maybe it was a month ago.
Okay.
It was on a Saturday at Market Basket, but there were only maybe 5 people in the line, maybe 7. Not what you saw back in the spring.
Right.
So
it was crazy.
it's not. Yes, it's not at that degree anymore. So that's good.
How are your restaurants faring?
It's been tough for the rest. There are businesses that are just not going to come back, and some of the smaller restaurants are going to have trouble. But we've done a lot to try and boost up the small businesses. We received a $30,000 grant from the Attorney General's office, and we to provide assistance to the business community. We also just got a $800,000 grant. It's a regional grant for 4 or 5 communities, and we're hosting it to provide small business grants for small businesses 5 and under, up to $10,000. So, and it's just an outright grant.
And those are grants, not loans.
Not loans.
Good,
and it's just income driven. But the restaurants are doing. Some of the restaurants are doing extremely well. We talked about Dairy Queen, PJ's Bar and Grill. They got on it right away at some of these restaurants. The Coachman's, a lot of outdoor seating, a lot of opportunity for it. Tents. So they're doing well. And the takeout, of course, has been just incredible, I think.
Are restaurants like the Coachman going to try to keep going as long as they can with outdoor dining, as long as it stays relatively warm?
Yes, and the governor just came out with a new grant program that we're going to be seeking funding for to provide assistance to businesses that want to do just that. Grants for heating, the heating elements and tents and things like that. So the state is stepping in, I think, with I forget what the number was, the total number was, as far as how much money they pumped into it. But we're going to be looking to get some of that money to assist the businesses. We've done everything we can for the business community that we possibly can to get them up and running. The second the governor allowed indoor seating to go or outdoor dining, we had already inspected all our restaurants, had told them what they need to do. So the second it was approved, we had them going the next day.
Yeah.
So we actually put together an economic development team to go visit the businesses and see what we could do to get them open, even if the state said you can't open, because we went down there to see there's some things that we can do and to get them open, because we did have some local control over that as well.
Okay. Yeah. We got a message. We're going to take a break, but we did get a message come in. Dave sent me something. He says he's hearing from other radio stations of cancellations of ad contracts because of what's going on with the NFL. So normally the sold-out game broadcasts are suffering. Can't sell because of the non-sports activities, driving non-political advertisers away.
Doesn't surprise me.
No.
Yeah.
All right, time for the forecast right now, being brought to you by Allstate. Today, it's gradually going to become sunny this afternoon with a high temperature near 71. Tonight, clear skies, low around 50. Saturday's weather, sunny, high near 70. Saturday night, partly cloudy, low around 51. Sunday, partly sunny, high 75. And the outlook for Monday, mostly sunny and a high near 79. Currently, outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio on the corner of Park Ave and Kennedy Street, we have 63 degrees. If you haven't quoted Allstate lately, it's the perfect time. Now Allstate has new lower auto rates. Call a local Allstate agent and get a quote now.
When in doubt, select Chan's and enjoy a wide variety of entrees, including great seafood like 5-spice shrimp, lo mein, and vegetarian specials. Chan's also features many combination entrees and house favorites like Oriental chicken and Mongolian steak. And don't forget their award-winning wonton soup. Chan's Four Seasons showroom can accommodate up to 125 persons for special occasions. Chan's at 267 Main Street, Woonsocket, 765-1900. Open 7 days a week, including lunch at 11:30 a.m. Chan's, just a few steps from the Stadium Theater.
I'm here with Kara Benjamin of the Benjamin Insurance Agency. Kara, what can you tell me about the insurance industry?
The industry changes so frequently due to many different factors, things like increased weather-related storms, the invention of smartphones and social media, which increase the amount of distracted drivers, even the cost of cars. Today, people are buying $30,000, $40,000, even $50,000 cars with every kind of option you can think of. All these things impact the insurance industry, and it's important to keep current.
You're in good hands with Allstate and Kara and Celeste Benjamin of the Benjamin Insurance Agency, 125 Eddie Dowling Highway, across from Dowling Village in North Smithfield, 765-5000.
Our business is truly a referral business, and we have built it based on our premier service level and commitment to what we do. If you are looking for personalized service with people who care, that would be us.
Hi, this is Gary Smith. Join me for Do You Remember, Tuesday through Friday mornings at 9:30 here on ON Radio.
This portion of the Coffee and program is sponsored by the Valley Breeze newspaper.
When you want to know what's coming up in your town, there's news, as it's reported, and there are public notices. Public notices, also called legal ads, are placed by cities and towns in newspapers to alert you of important meetings that'll be coming up soon. At the Valley Breeze newspapers, you'll find public notices right up front, generally on page 4. They aren't tiny, hard-to-read ads in the back of the paper. In the Breeze, ads are easy to find and read. We want you to know. In addition, all public notices are placed online at valleybreeze.com, where they remain posted until the public meeting is passed. It's just the right thing to do. If you live in Cumberland, Lincoln, North Smithfield, or another local town, you'll find public notices in the Breeze every week and online at valleybreeze.com. Go to the homepage and click Public Notices. You'll find them all. Breeze public notices that will keep you informed, ahead of the crowd, in the paper and online. Thanks for noticing.
All right, it is Coffee In here on ON Radio. Joe Callahan here with Paul Ouellette and Dennis Frayne, town manager from the town of Blackstone. When the governor of Massachusetts, Dennis, put out the travel restrictions and said Rhode Islanders can't go to Massachusetts without quarantining for 14 days, did you receive any calls from people, anybody from Woonsocket or North Smithfield saying, I just want to come to the Stop and Shop and then come right back?
Yeah, Bellingham, of course, is right on the Woonsocket Blackstone town line. So we had a lot of people saying just that. But there's no way of controlling that. I mean, they were talking about in North Attleboro, you could go, you're from Rhode Island, you could go to the Market Basket and go grocery shopping, but you couldn't go next door to the Marshalls. It's silly. I mean, people need to take responsibility. And no, we didn't have armed guards at the border. Unlike Rhode Island, I remember back in March, you couldn't go to Triggs Golf Course from Massachusetts.
Oh, if you were from Mass, you could.
Some guys got detained because they parked in Mass, and it was ridiculous.
They parked their Massachusetts cars and all piled into a Rhode Island car.
And then driving up from 95, they'd stop you at the border and say, where are you going? And if you're going to be staying here, then we want to track you and make sure you're quarantining. So, and they can do it with those transponders. Like Maine was doing it. You'd get a fine in the mail if you didn't quarantine. So if you drove up to Maine, they're picking you up on the transponder.
See, that's another reason
funny,
not to have a transponder.
It's funny you say that because my wife and I did go to Maine. We were going to a private residence. And I thought about, should I use my transponder or just, pay cash?
Yeah.
But I'm sure the cameras even
they pick you up.
They pick you up anyway. So we didn't get anything, but we did. We brought all our provisions. We didn't go to the supermarket. We we had everything.
Didn't go out to eat or anything like
that.
No,
but I did have to stop the gas. I told my wife, all right, I'm going to hit the hatch. You walk around back, make like you're getting something out of the back, so, cover the license plate so they don't see.
It's like you're a criminal.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
Felt a little dirty.
All right, Dennis, is there a water ban still going on in Bellingham?
Oh, yeah. Well, the state, it's a level 2 drought, which means it's fairly moderate statewide. So the Department of Environmental Protection puts something out and asks, really directs communities to go ahead and put in conservation initiatives. We're doing good as far as our water levels. We have 12 ground wells throughout town, and our water supply is good, but we follow the state water ban, so it is 1 day a week handheld only. Unless you have a private well, a lot of people have private wells and utilize those. But yeah, so there is that water ban in play, and as I say, Bellingham, as far as supply goes, it's not so much of an issue. It's a double-edged sword because we've got the supply right now, but we recognize the fact that it is a statewide drought, so we're participating. But from a financial perspective, our water system, our water department is totally paid for through an enterprise fund that's funded with water receipts. So when you cut back on people's ability to use water, then it puts a major hit on revenue that comes into the town. And it's been a tough year for communities as far as state aid's concerned, as far as
getting any money,
generating income. The business communities are having a tough time, and that it's a trickle down effect right from the top right on down. And I don't think we've seen the worst of it. I think it's going to get worse in a year or two, as far as unless the economy just takes off, because right now you have a lot of money out there due to the economic stimulus, unemployment. A lot of people are collecting significantly more unemployed than they were when they were working, and that money's all out there being spent. And you see you go to BJ's, and it's just slammed with people buying TVs and everything else under the sun. So when that goes away, I think that, I'm not an economist, but it's going to slow things down a little bit. I think people are going to have to go back to work, and you look at the unemployment numbers. Not to be cynical, but I think some of it has to do with...
What is it in Massachusetts?
Massachusetts is... I couldn't believe it when I saw it. Has the highest rate in the country at 16.1%. It shocked me when I saw that. That was just yesterday or the day before, and I thought, is that misinformation? It was on a reliable news channel, but
we're Rhode Island. I think we're still double digits, not as high as that. But
I thought it was 11 in Rhode Island, but I could be wrong on that.
The issue with that extra money, and speaking to a lot of employers, is that they can't get people to come back to work. They report them to the Department of Labor like they're required to, but they don't have the means to follow up on all this.
Right.
There's
they
so
do
many.
not take them off the rolls.
Case in point, I got an estimate on a job, and the person said, "Well, we can come out. We'll give you the estimate, but no, we can't get to it till like mid-November." And she was, the woman who owns the company said, we're down a crew. We just can't get the people to come back to work. And I've heard that, in the restaurant industry and several others. So that's an issue.
You go out and you go to just about any establishment now, you see them, and the first thing you see on the window is help wanted. And, unemployment is 16% in Massachusetts, and you've got a tremendous amount of employers looking for help right now. No question about it.
I've been to a few different hardware stores, but I don't know if you've been over to I haven't been over to Rockies on Pulaski, but are they having? Are they having trouble getting product in? Rockies Ace Hardware.
I don't know.
I've talked to other hardware stores, and they're just having trouble getting product. Just
depending on where it comes from.
That's true.
It still hasn't caught up. The cycle hasn't caught up.
I haven't seen that. There may be certain items that are tough to come by. Still, suppose the Clorox wipes are going to be out there for a long time, but every time I walk into Walgreens, there seems to be a couple on the shelf, and I don't even get them anymore because I've got 3 or 4 at home.
All right. Other things going on in Bellingham. I read this maybe a month and a half or so ago. Did the town of Bellingham get some kind of boost from the marijuana industry? I know there's marijuana cultivation that goes on in Bellingham. Can you speak to that?
We actually have 2 cultivation operations in town, although we are a no dispensary town, so you can grow it, you can't smoke it, or you can't buy it, I guess. But we did award a delivery license, or authorize one of the cultivators to do delivery. They can't deliver in Bellingham because it's a no dispensary town. You can't deliver, but essentially they'll have 5 or 6 vans, unmarked vans, where it almost works like Uber Eats, and the state just approved it, and they are one of the first that will be running delivery service, and it for the benefit of Bellingham hosting that, they're going to pay us $250,000 a year.
Okay, that's
in
what I read.
addition to real estate taxes. So it's
not bad.
It's over $1 million over the course of 5 years just for the benefit of having that license and mitigating any of the impacts they might have. What those impacts are remain to be seen, but it's pretty impressive, the money that's out there, and we'll see what it's like in 10 years when it's saturated or oversaturated. But so the way it works as far as delivery goes, and it's not available just yet, will be soon. The state's only going to issue about 20 licenses, and you'll call up if you want a delivery of marijuana, and you'll tell them what you want and what dispensary it's at. And each day, those delivery vans will go out to those dispensaries, pick it up and drop it off, and come back.
And that'll be legal in Bellingham to do that, even though you can't have a dispensary
It'll
in
be
town.
legal for the vans to roll out of Bellingham and come back to Bellingham, but no product can go into the vehicles and be distributed in the town of Bellingham. No delivery in Bellingham. And no delivery in any community that doesn't allow dispensary. So if you're a no dispensary town, then you can have marijuana delivery service in your community, which our community allows cultivation but does not allow dispensaries.
So the van can be in Bellingham, drive to Dover, pick it up, and then deliver it to Bill Ricker, and then come back.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yep, that's the way it works.
It's complicated.
It is complicated. Yeah. But obviously, there's a lot of money in it because those vans will go out and they're going to identify territories that each of the licenses can cover. So
yeah. Wow. Well, you get in Bellingham gets the benefit of this, and that's
huge benefit.
$1,000 a year. That's
the economic benefit is considerable when you think about it. The two cultivation facilities and the dispensary will generate about $600,000 a year in payments through the host community agreements, and then real estate taxes on top of that.
Are there any other cultivation companies that want to come into Bellingham that are trying to find a space?
Not at the moment.
Not right now. Okay.
Yeah, not at the moment.
So the two are doing just fine on their own. Huh?
They're doing fine on their own. Yeah.
Any complaints from the neighbors?
There were odor complaints.
I remember that.
Odor.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah, some of the smell.
Has that
I
tapered off?
They've done a lot of retrofitting of their facilities to try and put different types of filters in to try and beat that down, that smell down.
All right. More Coffee In is coming up. This segment of the Coffee In program has been sponsored by the Valley Breeze newspaper.
Is your business struggling to be found on Google? Are you still trying to figure out how Facebook works? Are you wasting your money on social media? Do you just need more customers? If you do, then contact the local digital marketing team at Breeze Digital Media in Lincoln. Breeze Digital Media has programs that are approved by Google and Facebook and are designed to grow your business. Packages start at only $199 a month and include easy monthly reporting so you know where your investment is going. Contact Breeze Digital Media for a free marketing analysis of your business today. Call 401-334-9555, extension 154, anytime, or visit breezedigitalmedia.com/offer.
Hey folks, Chan's Restaurant is serving their delectable dishes via their easy takeout window off Clinton Street and in their comfortable dining room and cozy lounge. In fact, Chan's has WRIK karaoke every Friday and Saturday nights in the lounge now from 9 to midnight. Be sure to bring your masks to wear when you're not seated at your table when you return to Chan's Fine Oriental Dining, 267 Main Street in Woonsocket.
Danny's D&S TV and Appliances believes in service from the time you walk into their showroom to the delivery and installation of your appliance or TV. They'll make sure your appliance or TV is functioning properly and also review the features and controls. Danny's also repairs all makes of appliances and TVs, even those they haven't sold. If it's repairable, they can do it. Danny's is your full-service sales and service location and a family business for over 30 years. Danny's D&S TV and Appliances, 158 Central Street, Millville. 508-883-5862.
As you know, to protect you and your family from possible COVID-19 infection, the organizers of Woonsocket's Autumn Fest have canceled this year's celebration. But you can still support Autumn Fest and possibly win some great prizes when you buy a 2020 Autumn Fest button. Yes, the 2020 Autumn Fest buttons were already manufactured when Autumn Fest was canceled. So, the button contest is on.
The price of the numbered buttons is the same, just $1, and they're available at the offices of ON Radio, 985 Park Avenue, Woonsocket, at any little general store, or at an increasingly long list of local businesses which you can see on the web at autumnfest.org, where, if you wish, you may even buy your Autumnfest buttons online. This year, the grand prize is $500 in cash donated by Bouchard Broadcasting. The first prize is $250 in cash donated by Little General Convenience Stores. The second prize is $100 in cash donated by The Honey Shop. Join in on the fun. Be sure to get your 2020 Autumn Fest button today.
Okay, Coffee Ann here on ON AM and FM. Joe Callahan here with Paul Willett and Dennis Frayne, town manager from the town of Bellingham. So, more good economic news for Bellingham. Let's see if I got this right. Is Amazon coming to Bellingham, kind of like either a mini distribution center or something like that?
You can tell I haven't been here for a few months, Joe. Amazon kicked in June in Bellingham.
Okay,
they actually moved into a 350,000 square foot facility in Bellingham, and it is a final destination distribution center.
Right,
so
right,
it's where the product is delivered from. And what Amazon's doing is they're building these facilities, and they want to have 45-minute radius delivery for each of their facilities. They want to have a facility within 45 minutes of delivery in
Because I thought about
urban
that
areas
because
like this.
Milford has a distribution center already that was up and running. I'm like, why do they want one in Bellingham? Well, that explains it right there.
Yeah, different territory, and they park their vans for the most of them inside. When they roll in different directions. It's interesting. They roll between 10 and 1 o'clock, 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. They roll, I think, 30 or 40 vehicles every half hour. So that's how they kind of keep down the volume all hitting at once, and they go in different directions. So there's 3 different directions that they can go. So some of the businesses are doing well. The gas stations, of course, do extremely well, but the building itself is outfitted to have all electric vehicles by 2022 is what Amazon wants to do at that particular site. So
they want all their delivery vehicles to be electric?
It was everybody's biggest concern. You're right. They want all their delivery vehicles. It's everyone's biggest concern having an Amazon in town, and right close by, I'm sure, seeing those vans going in every direction, it's a little unsettling, but the impact that Amazon's having is just, I mean, I've got to think to the business community it's going to be detrimental, but I suppose it's no different than the Walmarts, because Walmart's doing the same thing now. Walmart's got that type of delivery service next day. Target has it. All the big retailers have it. So you got a brick and mortar. I don't know what's going to happen.
It's amazing. The other day, I told my wife, I said, look, it was like a traffic jam of delivery trucks in front of our house. So there was a FedEx truck here, there was an Amazon truck here, and there was a UPS on this side, and it was like, it's crazy. It really is.
But the convenience to stay at home and get anything you want delivered, and it's not always the cheapest either. I've seen you look at Amazon, you say, "Oh, it's got to be the cheapest, free delivery," and then I'll look, go online. No, you go online and check, and I can get that for half the money there.
Well, it's the convenience of staying home and having
That's
to
right.
it.
Exactly.
How many people do they employ at the Bellingham, and did they employ Bellingham residents?
They do. They say they give priority to Bellingham residents, but they have a couple hundred vans there. They don't all roll every day.
Right.
So drivers, and then they have the people inside sorting. And again, that's another facility where they have help wanted signs up constantly, looking for employees. So it has been a good source of employment. I think they go somewhere in the $17 to $22 an hour range, depending on what you're doing.
Yeah, we've run ads for them here on the for our weather forecast.
For employees, yeah.
And it's just all you gotta do is apply, and they even tell you no resume, no experience. We just give us your name.
Yeah.
and your phone number. We'll call you to bring you in.
Their facilities are very impressive when you go inside and look. Yeah, state of the art. We've got Amazon, of course, delivery. We have Dunkin' Donuts Northeast Distribution Center in Bellingham. It used to be their corporate headquarters for the Northeast, but they moved down south. But their distribution is still there. That's the most impressive distribution facility, I think, the Dunkin' Donuts, because it's all automated. It was built, I think it opened 2004 or so, but it's just very impressive. Best Buy one of their major distribution centers is in Bellingham. Linda Meyer is in Linda Paper Products is in Bellingham. Amazon, is the most recent, most current, and it's incredible how automated everything is. It comes in, it's scanned, it's sorted, it's put on vans. They only have about 10 or 12 tractor-trailer trucks come in the middle of the night. Everything comes off, goes in the vans come out in cycles, and off they go. It's incredible, the operation. They've perfected it.
How efficient it is.
How efficient it is. And the good thing is they don't have to look for storage facilities for vehicles all over Bellingham, because they built the site to accommodate the vehicles. That's one of the big rubs in Milford is they're parking all over town.
Yeah.
And it's been a great annoyance. But the new facilities, they retrofitted facilities there in Milford. This one was specifically designed to be a distribution outlet. And it's really incredible when you see how efficient they are.
I've never been in a big distribution facility like that, but I would imagine it's like, Command Central, and they're tracking all the vehicles. It must be pretty impressive.
It is, and just the operation with them bringing the products out and putting them onto the vans and sorting them in such a way that it makes sense for the drivers. It's just incredible. But the automation's unbelievable. As I say, with Dunkin' Donuts, they're distributing all over the Northeast their product. All over the Northeast, local.
Is that food product that they're distributing?
Yeah. Anything that goes to a Dunkin' Donuts is distributed out of these facilities.
Or is there would it be just like
flour,
cups or
everything?
Everything. Okay.
Everything from the coffee to the baking products, because the muffins. The donuts fresh every 4 hours. I mean, that product is all pre-made, and they come in, they heat it up, and they serve it.
Right.
It's not like the muffins are coming in raw dough, and they put them into the products. They have bakers, but the product's already prepared and then baked. But it's all distributed. They go all the way up to Maine and upstate New York and come back every day.
All right. Well, let's see. I think covered almost everything I wanted to cover in Bellingham. Anything else?
I think the big issue is schools opening, heightened anxiety, not just in Bellingham, but I think all over the state. I think people are just concerned about what's going to happen in the weeks ahead once we start bringing children back to schools, and obviously the teaching community is concerned as well. Yeah, cases going to spike up. Are we going to see an increase? And here's hoping that doesn't happen.
How did Bellingham handle your town meeting?
It was interesting. We did what you've probably seen
it at the high
elsewhere.
school?
It was at the high school. It was on the football field, spread out. I think Mansfield did it at the Xfinity Center.
Yes,
right?
we did.
Yeah, that's a luxury, being able to go in.
There was plenty of space there.
Plenty of spaces. We had a setup. We rented 800 chairs. We had to get bathroom facilities, porta-johns, washing stations. We had a no mask section for people that didn't want to sit in masks. Everything was spread out 6 feet apart. It was a big town meeting because we had an override vote for the schools that passed in May, and then the actual funding had to happen at town meeting. So it was a heavily attended town meeting, and it went extremely well. Extremely well. And we had graduation a few weeks ago. Actually, it was first week of August, I think. Same type setup. Everything was spread out. No guests other than immediate family, parents, and went well. So fortunately, we didn't have any incidents at either of those events.
You talked about the schools opening in Bellingham, going with the hybrid model. Is there a timetable that the superintendent wants to get to where everybody can just come back into the classroom?
I'm sure there is, but they haven't even talked about it publicly yet. Yeah, I'm sure they've got those plans in place. I know they do, but it could go one way, it could go the other, where they go all hybrid, where they go all virtual learning. So they need to be prepared to act on the fly, and I think they'll do it quickly. If in fact there were to be a spike in cases, I think everybody's prepared to go full virtual if that were to happen. But we're hoping it goes the other way, where we're able to go full in person at some point. Obviously, that's the goal, and people talk about when the vaccine is in place, and
Are you in contact? Maybe not you personally, but does the governor's office stay in contact with all the towns?
They
and
do.
What's going on?
They have regular press conferences, and then they have virtual meetings, Zoom meetings for municipal leaders on a regular, ongoing basis. And there's a chat going on where you can type in your questions. The lieutenant governor chairs it, and the leadership from the lieutenant governor and the governor has been impressive. They have stayed in touch with the local communities, getting the message out, getting grant opportunities out there, and doing the weekly chat where it's chairman of board of selectmen, town administrators are invited to attend, and obviously we take the questions from the rest of the community and try and put it out there and get answers.
Okay. Were you surprised at all with the outcome of the race between Ed Markey and Joe Kennedy? Since you're in politics.
Yeah, it's tough to say. I think they're very similar candidates, just 30 or 40 years apart in age. And it's tough to get an incumbent like Markey, who's been between Congress and Senate 44 years. It's difficult to beat somebody like that, I think, even if your last name is Kennedy in Massachusetts. So I guess it's the first Kennedy that, with the Kennedy from the Kennedy family that's lost.
Yeah. Lost a race in Massachusetts.
I got to think he's going to be back.
I've heard a few scenarios where he might still come around and run again.
I will say Constituent Services, our state representative, who's a Republican, had told me that as far as constituency services, he's never seen anything like the Kennedy Constituency Services. Just phenomenal as a congressman, and the level of service that he provided. So certainly we appreciate that, and whoever the incoming congressional winner is for our district, hopefully they'll do likewise.
Do you think Markey wins in November? He does have an opponent.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember who it is. Kevin O'Connor is his name.
Now I'm sure that if he was able to defeat Kennedy the way he did, he'll get back in.
Have a pretty easy time of it.
Pretty popular guy. It's ironic that his age, he was the candidate for young voters, where Joe Kennedy, being young himself, it was a little odd, but.
When was the last Republican senator in Massachusetts? Was it Brooke?
Scott Brown.
Scott Brown. For that.
He was there for
2 years or 1 year.
Yeah, and then Elizabeth Warren knocked him out.
Prior to him, was it?
Oh, that I don't remember.
I think it was Brooke, right? Who was in the late 70s, early. I think Brooke was a Republican.
Yeah.
I can't remember. He was African American, but I can't remember.
All right. Well, we've come to the end of the program, so we thank you for listening in. And, of course, Dennis Frayne, thanks for coming in and giving us all the good information about